Today is an exciting day. Much more exciting than yesterday. It is finally time to reshell this Switch Lite. And since I don't have to do anything with the digitizer, oh, it will go so smoothly. So I went with a similar-ish color scheme. I went with a clear console the other time, and I was very impressed. Don't get me wrong, and it's not that I wouldn't want to do that one again. But for this shell, I wanted to do kind of this color. I thought it looked really nice. The shell feels really nice. I think it's just kind of cute. It's like a baby blue. It's not so much... It's definitely not the teal. Because I would have really liked to have just gotten another teal. But I think the baby blue is just so unique. So let me get this thing apart. I'm going to not follow their reshell guide because I don't necessarily need to. I just need to follow a good iFixit guide just so I make sure I know where all my screws are. iFixit Switch Lite because the Switch Lite uses a lot of screws at different lengths with different heads, which is probably why it was given a 3.5 out of 10 for repairability score. So I'm gonna do the screen takedown or the teardown. I could, you know what? Let me bring up that window. I'll keep it kind of small. This one. I'll just trim it down to the kind of the important bits. Don't need to see my taskbar up there. And the aggressive sort of margins that iFixit will give, just down to the important bits. So we start with the outer panel screws, which I'm gonna start on normal Sunday for my my screws. Get these screw collectors away. So I think I still have that Y bit. Now they say a Y00. I have a Y2.5. I think that's my biggest bit that will fit this recess nicely. Oh, and I'm missing a screw. I think I was always missing a screw. Yeah, okay, this was the one where the screw posts were bad when I got it, so these screws were missing. Thankfully, this shell kit does have screws that I can use. So, yeah, 2.3 is the biggest, and I'm using my vessel kit. And 2.3 fit this recess very, very nicely. So I'm going to have to look... I want to kind of supplement these screws immediately with the ones that are missing, so I don't have to think about it when I'm like wrapping up. I'm like, oh god, why do I only have 3 screws? And I forget again that because it was like that. So the Extreme Rate shell kit does come with a screw kit. Now, I assume it's every screw, which is kind of wild. I don't know why they necessarily do this, because if you're disassembling your console, you should have all your screws. So the ones I'm looking for, I'm guessing if these are third-party shell kits, they're going to be Phillips, which is a little odd to mix a Phillips and, or 3 Phillips, or 3 Y-tips and 1 Phillips. So they must be these kind of long black screws. They kind of have to be. I'll measure them just to make sure. I need to get a little baggie for them as well. Do I have one kicking around? Yes, I do. Because these are going to kind of go everywhere. I need to make sure this thing doesn't have any holes in it. If it's good, other than me just puffing a bunch of moisture in there. It'll dry out. So I see one of these black screws in here. Let me grab my... wherever I put my tweezers. Oh, here they are. Because there's quite a few black screws in here. I mean... 1, 2... There's like 7 or something. But... and this is a completely different screw type. So this has more of like a pan head. I mean, I should probably get my microscope set up, because that will give me the much better view. Get my microscope to an... Oh, I don't think I have the darn thing plugged in. Stand by. There we go. I'll just plop it over the iFixit for now. So this is what the normal screw looks like. Sort of a pan head. And the screw I'm looking at is a completely different head type. So I'm guessing that's not the same screw. The problem is that might be my only option. It will work, I suppose. I don't exactly like it. I don't exactly like my options here. But I don't have another OEM screw to put in. So let me just dump everything out here and just kind of look at all these long black screws. I think they all have the same head type. And this is just going to be from a third-party shell kit. They're all going to be Phillips recess. I don't know why there's so many black screws. There must be more of these types of screws that appear inside the switch than I recall. Alright, well, I guess that's just going to be how it is. Let me just get everything in this baggie, so I don't get them mixed up. I will have to replace the small Phillips head. I mean, let me get those out as well. So then there's the 4 Phillips head located around the screw, or around the shell. And they look like this. Sort of this. These don't exactly have the same pan head. They kind of have that taper down to the threads. So this one might be a little more forgiving for the third-party shell kit. So let me grab my calipers and measure out these screws. So the black screws in the kit are approximately 5.9 by 5.9 M.4 screws, M1.4. These are 6.3. So these are significantly longer. So I need to find any 6.3 screws. Just going to measure them all. It's a little hard to tell by eye. 5.9. 5.9. I might just have to, if these are M.1.4 screws, I might just have to deal with them. They are M.1 1.4 screws, so the thread diameters are correct. The lengths are not. 5.9. It'll thread. I'm not worried about it not threading. 5.9. It's just a shame I can't exactly have like a one-to-one replacement. Whatever screw manufacturer Extreme Rate purchased from. Which, I mean, I'm happy that they included it. Just on the off chance that you lose one of these super tiny fucking screws in your carpet. 5.9. But they are, by all respects, subpar replacements. I mean, they're off by... what would that be? 4 or 5 millimeter? 0.4 or 0.5 millimeters? Which is functionally nothing, but that could be an entire thread turn. So, I mean... it will work. Let me check the thread diameter of the one I selected. You know what? Because I have my original shell that I am going to essentially scrap, I need to test this screw and see how it fits. I need to kind of be careful here. Let me dump all these screws out just so that I can get rid of these little baggies. I'm not going to open up this one. I don't think I need any of those screws. Shuffle everything aside. Then here's the original switch. I took out all 3 of them. It looks like this will probably be an Phillips 00 recess, considering how small it is. Ooh. Ooh. That goes in pretty hard. I don't like that. I know these aren't supposed to replace OEM screws, so, and I will be cutting my own threads. But I mean, as a screw, it does its job. It's going to be weird that there's a Phillips among Y-tips or Y-type screws, but I mean, at a certain point, you just gotta see it and go, well, it's a replacement. If I remember, I'll be sure to mention it. The Phillips screw will be a lot easier to hide than the Y-type. But that's the situation that I'm in right now. So it's either not have a screw or have a screw. And I would rather have a screw. So here is the Phillips. I just need a singular replacement. I'm guessing it's going to be one of these small black screws. It is 3.7 1.4. I'm just going to grab one of the black screws. 3.3. Very much like it to still be black. 3.4. I'm guessing since there's 4 black screws, I'm guessing these are supposed to be those screws. But again, it's going to be smaller. 3.45. At least that's a little bigger. Just grab the biggest of these. 3.55. Okay, here's the closest one. That is also an M.4. Yes. Again, I'll give it a test fit in a shell that I'm basically garbaging anyway. Well, I'll keep it for spares, but this thing has been through the ringer. I used a little bit of acetone on it to try and get rid of some of those marks, but I mean, kind of melted the shell a little. Ooh, was that the one? That must have been the one without the screw post, because that just sort of slopped in. Oh. Well, when I screwed it in, it basically stripped it out immediately. Thankfully, I'm cutting threads with these screws, so I don't have to really worry about stripping existing posts. I'm just going to have to be kind of careful if I do have to open it up for any reason that I put the same screws in the same posts. Because these third-party screws might create difficulties. They start stripping out their other threads. But this is the only option I have right here, so I just gotta roll with it and make the best of it. Get these out of the way. I need to leave a note on these that these are switch Lite. Just on the off chance I need a switch Lite screw. I still have the screw kit from my other Extreme Rate kit, so I could probably just bundle those together. Got a little pen ink on my finger. Don't want that. Now that is solved, we can get back to getting this thing together. Let me get this stuff out of my way. Okay, I need to get the rest of these Phillips out. 2 up here now. Put these all in Sunday. And I think I'm going to transfer the... I'm going to transfer the hardware for this rear shell right away, so I don't need to deal with everything immediately, or I don't have to deal with that at the end. That'll make more sense when I get to it. Oh, I did put pieces of tape just to make sure that the screen doesn't, like, fall out when I was playing it, because I was playing some Breath of the Wild on it. Speaking of, I need to pop that game out. I should have probably folded one of the ends of this Scotch tape so it'd be a little easier to remove. I wasn't thinking that far ahead. I didn't think it would be sort of this irritating to try and remove. One more piece. Yeah, I originally had to remove this screen because of how bad the shell was. I just wanted to get the shell in good shape before I reshelled it, just to kind of see what I was working with and how bad this shell actually was. And it's nothing I can salvage. Okay. Now, we should be able to pop everything apart. Ooh. Oh, I missed some paint. Yeah, this thing had a bunch of paint on it. Acrylic or something, I don't know what type of paint, but... Ah. Getting a little more comfortable popping these things apart, thankfully. I do actually need to check the new shell before I get too far ahead. Does it have a place for the barcode? No, it does not. So that was kind of my problem with the other Extreme Rate shell. It doesn't have a spot for the barcode. I do want to transfer it, but I might just have to put it on the heat shield and just say, well, the barcode's internal if you wanted to look at it for whatever reason. Because that's an important, like, tracker for me. Just to keep track of repairs and what I did to a thing. Because if I get multiple turquoise or teal switch lights in, then I'm going to have a hard time keeping track of them unless I go like, well, this one was painted. So the hardware I was talking about are these two little brackets right here and this membrane. The buttons aren't so much important. But I do just want to get this transferred since it's here, and then I can get it completely out of my way. Might as well just get everything out, because I'm just going to be throwing parts in this thing. I'll put it over here. So then I'm going to grab the bottom shell. Screen protector stuff. Be extra careful. So now let me look for the accessories here. There will be the, I am gonna need, yeah, I think it's everything in there is what I'm gonna need. Not everything, there's some shoulder button stuff in here that I don't need. Because thankfully the actual, like, physical buttons I can use again, so I can just use the white colored buttons. Thankfully, like, those are the one things that survived the painting. Acetone was actually really nice on those buttons. They didn't sort of like eat away at them to the degree that I was expecting acetone to eat. Okay, and if I remember correctly, this is kind of a not so very intuitive on how these fit in, but they only fit in one way. And you can kind of line it up with the membrane on how they line up. Doesn't look like I have to shave down any of the buttons, because the buttons I got for the clear shell, they were still in their injection mold, so I had to sort of clip them off. So since these aren't in their injection mold, I don't think they're going to be a problem. I'll find out when I put it together if it's a problem. There we go. Get the game card slot clipped in. Get the little bracket in. So now these will be screws I don't have to track. I will have to cut threads into this, so I hate doing that. That should be good. And the SD card slot. Doesn't exactly clip in super nicely, but it is also brand new. Those shoulder buttons I'm going to need later. So these are just screws I don't have to track anymore. That's kind of the intention of doing this right now. I'll move that aside. So now we get down. So I kind of went ahead of the iFixit guide here. So the first of the fun annoyance, that is the different screws. So we have 3 screws I need to undo, one of which is like a super duper long boy. These will go into Monday. I don't know where that fell, so I'll ignore it. I might try to remagnetize this, if that changes anything. there's the screw. Okay. This will be for the heat shield. Still has good thermal paste on it. I'm going to leave that thermal paste on. I'm just going to have to be very careful. So for Tuesday, I'm hoping they do the heat clamp next. Oh, they remove the battery next. Very wise call. I was a little worried about... I might remove the thermal paste from the CPU, or the APU, so I don't get that everywhere. You know what, I might as well just... Well, what I can do is place the heatsink upside down onto the metal shielding. So I can try and reuse some of this thermal paste. Because it is brand new. Like, when I took it off to clean the shell, I put on new thermal paste. So this thermal paste is only like maybe a week old. But I think just to not make a big mess, I'm gonna remove it from the... Remove the thermal paste from the APU, and then I'll just reapply more. There, that should be good. Let me get this thermal paste off. Oh, imagine that, it's actually paste. I was trying to take thermal paste off of an original Xbox One. I mean, that's like 13-year-old thermal paste. Ooh, that stuff is not paste anymore. It's like caulk. Dried caulk. Thermal chalk. There we go. Nice heat spreader. Alright, so I don't have to worry about tracking that everywhere. So they do the heatsink, and then they do the game card slot and the headphone jack. I will give Nintendo praise every single time I do this. For the game card slot to be removable is incredible. The new 3DS series had the same thing. Not very often would you run across a DS system with a bad game card slot, but it was not super uncommon. Where just something mangled up the pins, somebody jammed stuff into there, picked a game card that's in awful shape, I don't know, screwdrivers, whatever fits their fancy. I mean, I don't exactly have the best spot to put stuff, so I'm gonna clear off a spot right next to me to put items like this. Alright, next is the right trigger button assembly. Alright. What I think I'm going to do is both trigger buttons. Perhaps. No, I think just maybe for my sanity, I should probably just follow the iFixit guide, so when I put it back together, I'm not wondering why the hell are there 4 screws in here when there should only be 2. I will need to remove that and put the new one on. I'll do that a little later. Oh, they wanted a JIS 000 screwdriver, while my 00 did just fine. Antenna cables. And I'm not going to go into why I made that comment. iFixit can be a little notorious for recommending the wrong screwdriver size. Don't even get me started when it comes to JIS and Phillips. Remove that. Ooh, they want me to do the screen ribbons next. Okay, I'm doing that with my fingernail because I trust my fingernail. There we go. Right. Ooh. Uh-oh. There it is. Okay, I'm like, oh shit, that's the screw. I'm reusing both of those buttons, so I'll just keep them over there. I didn't want that spring to go to Kingdom Come. Okay, they also remove the joystick, which are replaced joysticks. They are brand new TMR sticks from GUIKit. Been very pleased with their performance so far. Okay. Friday. So they remove all of this at once. I kind of did my own thing here, where I separated these three the ones flanking the USB-C port. But I'm just gonna remove them all at once. We'll go into Friday. And they remove this one. Good on Nintendo for using the same screw head in the internals of the Switch Lite. I can at least give them kudos for that. And I'm not going to use a JIS000 because my 00 grabs it perfectly. Okay, the entire motherboard should come out. Just gotta be kind of careful levering it out just in case I miss something. I don't want to crank on it and find that I missed a screw or didn't unplug a ribbon cable. I'm pretty sure I did. This is not the first time I've done this, but that's a false sense of confidence. There's a sticky part on my pry tool that I don't want to have a sticky part. Okay. Next, the joystick. I'll put in the Saturday. I don't like doing that. I think what I'll do is transfer these black pieces immediately. These little like dust protectors. Help soften up the adhesive. I guess I could do the same with the buttons. Well, I'll hold off on the buttons just in case I need to do anything kind of silly with the screen. I'm going to have to figure out how the screen adhesive works with this Extreme Rate shell. It comes with screen adhesive, which I kind of found out after the fact on my last console. I used my own adhesive. Let me see. Here's a screen protector kit. It comes with a tempered glass screen protector. Just comes with a sticker. Yeah, this stuff. I don't know how to apply this stuff. I'm not really familiar with it, but I'll have to sort of look at it and see if if Extreme Rate has a guide on what that means. Okay, next. They work on this end. Now, I fixed it unplugs this. You don't need to. I don't like taking off these types of plugs Like, the tweezers I got specifically that take those off did not do good at all. So, and I don't like munching on those connectors and creating problemos. Because once you undo that screw, this thing is free. You can just sort of shove it aside. It's not going to harm anything. I do want to get everything disconnected though. I think that's for the backlight. And that's the power button and everything. Okay. Let's see what they do next. I'm guessing they do the shoulder button. Yes, they do. I'll go into Not Monday. Do this so I don't lose the spring. Not Tuesday will probably be the remainder of this small board. Yep. There's a screw that they hid right underneath this ribbon cable. Sort of the main communication pathway. Good Jesus. That is indeed a 6mm screw. Holy! It's a big lad. After this, the subboard should be free. And then it will probably be the joystick. Yeah, just keep the subboard with it. Or the speaker with it. Yep, joystick, and then I'll transfer over the little black dust protector again. Okay, we're going into Not Wednesday. Should probably just pop the end cap into these, so I know exactly what they are. So these TMR sticks, you can replace the thumb caps with different colors. Alright, now let me grab the shell again to get the other black dust protector over. Use some rubbing alcohol to soften up that little adhesive that's on there. Perfect. Just gave it some puffs to dry it off. Alright, so now we're probably the mid-frame, which will go into Not Thursday. That should be the last of the screws. There is a screw down here. In this iFixit guide, the joystick's still attached. And then there's a super long boy right here. And this thing should come out right. I'm pretty sure that was it. Yeah, I just grabbed it. I have to be careful because the screen isn't attached to anything. Oh, there's one more. Wait, there's one more? Oh, there's 4. Okay, I'm stupid. It's not like me breaking that screw post would have been much of a loss. That's lifting up better. Alright, get that screen ribbon fed through. Mid-frame is out. Now, this screen is free. I think it's probably held on by just a little bit of residual adhesive, so like I'm barely pushing and it's falling out. Which is good. I did the hard part of taking that out. I'm just going to leave all the buttons in here. I think that'll just be a little easier for me while I'm trying to figure out how to put the adhesive back on. I could put on my own adhesive. I do kind of want to figure out what this is. Since, I mean, why would I use my own when I could just use the ones for free? Oh, so it looks like... Is this adhesive for the screen and the... Seems a little excessive, but does that match up? Seems really excessive. I'm going to use my own. I don't understand this. Because it looks like it's just an entire strip, but it doesn't seem like it's even double-sided. Like, am I supposed to put this on the shelf first? But that doesn't even fit. Let me look up extreme rate. I'll just do it right here in this guide. Gotta see my service, see the ads served to me. And whatever pops up in my search results. Here's the clear shell. I should be able to find that baby blue one that I just did. Heaven blue. Aww. Right, extreme rate installation guide. Now, I need to go all the way to the... Okay, they're putting it back together. I need to know what they do with the screen. I think we're getting close here, so I'm just going to let it run. Oh, I can't. Can I increase the playback speed? Yes. 2x, baby. Probably going to heat gun it. Oh, I didn't even notice. This is the same shell that I'm putting in. It's a little different because you can see the shoulder buttons that they have right down there are still in their injection mold. Or mine aren't. And I mean, if this tape is still too wide, I'll just use my own double-sided tape. It'll be more than sufficient. Like, it is strong stuff. Ugh, that's still... This process still makes me very uncomfy doing that. And I am cutting off a majority of the video. Because I have it kind of centered on my screen, but I mean, it works. I mean, I don't need to see him heating it. So, yeah, they don't even bother putting an adhesive. They just slap the old screen in. I'm not. A lot of adhesive was deposited on the shell, and, I mean, you could see how easy it was for me to push this screen out without very much resistance, if any. And I don't trust that screen is going to stay on. Like, look at him recycling, using the old adhesive. I don't trust that. Because considering the only thing holding this screen in are the 3 ribbon cables, and maybe just a touch of adhesive. I'm not going to say it's just going to plunk out. Like, those ribbon cables are pretty big, but that is a very small ribbon cable. And one kind of jolt, I could see that tearing really easily. Or just completely ripping off the LCD. So, they don't use the adhesive. I don't know what the hell it's for. Oh my guess. Are they going to do like the most frustrating thing and just sort of raw dog on this? I'm not even going to watch them do that. I don't know how some people can put on screen protectors just so casually. So I'm going to use my own adhesive. It'll be a thin double-sided tape that I use. I should have taken around. Yep, I have electronics repair tape. I'm just going to put a perimeter around it, especially on these 3 faces. I'm not going to do this 4th face because I don't really like disturbing those ribbon cables more than I need to. But I do want to give it some support. Like, if Mr. Extreme Rate wants to think that, like, yeah, that's... you can just reuse the old adhesive, it's okay. It's like, you can think it's okay. I would not feel comfortable just doing that, though. My roll of tape is kind of falling apart. I think I got pushed. Let me find my edge. Slide my fingernail across it. Maybe I can find it. Oh, here it is. I'm just gonna do nice long tape. There are some like crumbs here. I don't want to accidentally push underneath the screen. See if I can try and get them out. Yeah, it's just like the weird debris that came with this. I mean, I suppose it could have been some of my... I doubt it would be my pocket lint. My pockets aren't this dirty. Okay. Get a thin layer of tape all the way on these 3 faces. That should make it really, really nice and secure. Because, again, this is good stuff. Very tacky. I have to be very careful. Just want to make sure I don't go outside of the screen borders. I have to take a quick second. I need to make sure I'm running a disk drive test on my Xbox. I just need to make sure it doesn't turn itself off. I should probably just turn off standby, but that's too easy. Now this tape is like quite literally the same size as this little border, so I gotta be very attentive. Right to the edge and snip it. Just a tiny bit, a little bit of the corner got over, so I'm just gonna peel it back a little and clip it. No, that's one. Let's just say this tape is strong enough that I feel bad for whoever has to take this off. But hopefully a tempered glass screen protector should protect the digitizer for hopefully decades to come. And if you ever need to replace the digitizer, or you ever need to replace the tempered glass screen protector, you only ever have to replace the tempered glass screen protector. Get these, whatever this tape was, just get it away. Alright, so now this side will be a lot easier, so I'm going to save it for the last. I'm going to get the top. Right, last one. I did just notice something on that extreme rate. I'm pretty sure their LCD display had like a glossy backing. So it's a different screen revision, I think. Alright. Anyway, this tape is now on. It is overkill. But I'll take it. I'll happily take overkill. Let's get it all off and then get it in the shell. When I was peeling this back, I kind of folded it back a little. So I'm going to want to actually remove it. I sort of folded it back on itself. I didn't want it to make a hump. So there will be like a little bit of a missing adhesive right there, but again, this is so overkill. I'm not too worried about it. Okay. I'm ready to put this into its new adopted shell. So, it goes this way because there's a little notch for the backlight. I'm going to have to be careful with the adhesive because it will start grabbing on it right away. I need to make sure I get the digitizer. Sort of the notch as well. Actually, it might be easier this way. Because this cable will be a lot more receptive to bending than those other two cables. Gotta make sure it doesn't get bent. Okay, I think we're almost there. Voila! Just like that. So now I'm going to give it a nice pressy press around. I'll get that screen cleaned later. This, because I have to put a digitizer or a screen protector on it, which right now I'm not going to worry about. Now, the great reassembly of our time. I'm going to transfer all the buttons. Now that I don't have to deal with manipulating the shell to put in the screen. Very happy I can these buttons were actually able to be saved. I didn't have to order a new shell or a button kit. Because they were covered in paint, but again, acetone just sort of completely dissolved that paint without harming the buttons. I was very impressed. Oh, okay. I need to put this on something. I'm just gonna grab a few microfiber cloths. It's just so that the buttons can sort of fall in place, so I can put in all the membranes as well as like the shoulder buttons or the joysticks as well, so that I'm not laying it flat on a table and it's pushing out. Okay, one side done. Grab the other buttons. Beautiful. Original shell is nice and empty. All right, mid-frame. Should just plop right in like it always belonged here. Because it will always belong here. There's a hair. A couple of hairs. Probably near where the vent, or this is near where the vent was. Oh. This is the same color. Okay, this is probably... This little bit of plastic, I think, is probably one of the broken screw posts. Like, I mean, right up here, one of the outer screw posts is just mangled. So, I don't know if somebody tried taking it apart to service it or something. I really don't know the history of this thing. Beyond it falling into my hands covered in paint. Okay. Now, I think I put everything into Thursday because these were the last screws I did. So there's the super duper long boy. I'm going to do that one last because I feel like even though that screw is really, really long, it doesn't thread into the much. It probably doesn't thread in much more than these small screws. But I'm going to have to be very careful now because I'm going to be cutting threads. So I want to just make sure I pinch it together. I'm so used to backing a screw out until it jumps. But I just gotta screw in until I start getting resistance and then stop. I never like doing this process because it's very easy to just completely strip these out. But just whenever I start screwing, I need to commit. Until I get enough resistance and then I stop. It's up here. And then those threads are cut. So let's go backwards, baby. So next is the joystick over here. Not like that, but like this. Okay, and I have the cap. I mean, I guess I didn't necessarily need to put those into market, but it's kind of handy. And I did go with the white buttons instead of the colored buttons. I just don't think, because Extreme Rate does include ABYX buttons that are colored. I don't think it would fit this shell color scheme very well. I think they call it, what did Extreme Rate call it? Heavenly Blue or something, which was like, oh, that's kind of nice. I think, what was it? Red, blue, green, and yellow don't really fit Heavenly that well. Okay, skip back. Now we go to the small subboard, which I need to feed the joystick ribbon cable through. I also need to get the backlight. This ribbon cable can just stop being itself. Get the backlight ribbon cable through. Kind of want to wipe it off because I was kind of manhandling it. Get any hand grease off of it. Doesn't matter how clean my hands are, I'm just a disgusting bacteria factory. Alright. Let me get this cinched down. So this will be Tuesday. So there's the two super long boys. I see them. They're kind of different colored. I think the longer ones are more silver than the smaller ones, which I think have like a bit of gold to them. The super long boys are going to be... Just need to triple check here. It's going to be right here. Here's the other one. Right down here below the ribbon cable. And there are two short boys. Those are threading in nicely. Well, I mean, those threads are being cut nicely. Get this on and get it plugged in. Just making sure this sits down nicely. So it should... Okay, they do the shoulder button next. I'm gonna skip ahead. I want to do this piece. So if Monday's the shoulder button, then Sunday should be this screw. I just want to get this in. And then get this ribbon cable plugged in, and then I'll deal with the shoulder button, because I need to swap it from its housing. Or swap its, like, bracket to the heavenly blue color scheme. Nice. I need to do a sanity check. Will take just a moment. Okay, that ribbon cable is correct. It just seems a little odd. Maybe it's because I shifted it to the right a little bit or something. No, I'm guessing it just doesn't look right while it's sitting in there, but that is correct. That is how I took it apart. No, something isn't right. This speaker isn't sitting. Something's not passing the sniff test. Oh, that screenshot button is recessed and a little too far. I wonder if I pushed it out and then it rotated. Hang on. Abort, abort, abort. Yeah, just something didn't feel right when I was putting in this speaker. Maybe it is fine. Okay, let me just try and do this again. I think I was a little jumpy when I said that the screenshot button was not right. Oh, I just felt it like pop into place. Okay, that seems a lot better. Maybe the tolerance for the shell is just a little tight. Okay, now the speaker is flush against it. It was like levered up a little. And when I was putting this in, it was like offering quite a bit of resistance. The way this ribbon cable is seating, though, is a little strange. Like, it's rubbing up against the speaker in a way that I'm not exactly comfortable with, but it should be fine. I don't think it's going to harm anything. Supplementing my venture with coffee here. Okay, so now, if I were like this would be my left hand. So, let me grab the buttons. Let me put in the shoulder button. Make sure there's no paint on it. Yeah, these buttons came out really nicely, so I'm more than happy to reuse them. Give this once painted monstrosity a second life. For these, I need to kind of do a rather uncomfy thing and sort of pop them apart. And then I wasn't paying super close attention, so I just need to grab the opposite of this one. What I mean by not paying super close attention, I wasn't paying attention which one went where. So should pop into this one. There it goes. Get the little membrane on there. Nice. It should sit like that. And with the power of 2 screws, So remember to do the power button, the volume. Feel nice. Slide that in. Get it in its little recess for the shell and then slot it in. So far, I'm really liking this process. When I don't have to deal with the digitizer, oh, this makes it so much easier. Like, this is just leisure at this point. Okay. So next is the other screw, or the other thumbstick. Swap into the other side of the console. This will be not Saturday. Okay. Actually, I might want to just take off this thumb cap just to make it a little easier to feed through. So I'm not trying to... this is backwards. That also popped off. There we go. That looks better. Oh, I mean, I could have just matched the picture. I was just going for feel. Okay. Think it's motherboard next. Hell yeah. Alright, motherboard. Time to very weirdly lever you on. There's going to be a lot of things to consider. Did that fan receive power? It sort of jolted on me when I touched the... I mean, there shouldn't be any power in this board. But anyway, I'm not going to worry about it. If it doesn't turn on, then I can worry about it. This little ribbon cable over here. I don't even think that has nothing to do with the fan, so I don't know what I'm talking about. Need to get the stick as well. Okay. All of this while trying to also recess the speaker. Or put the speaker in its slot. There we go. I do want to get this, I think this is the fan right over here. This little ribbon cable. I really want to get this one in. It's going to just be a bit of a game. I need a sharper pry tool. I don't really like using metal tools on plastic ribbon cables, but there we go. Okay. I remember that last time. There's a pretty good bend in this little ribbon cable. Or a good crease, kind of by design. And I think the last time I put one of these back together, I think it may have been this console, I tried smushing the motherboard on top of it. When I was trying to plug that ribbon cable in, I'm like, why isn't this plugging in? I figured it out pretty quickly, though, to my credit. Guess it wouldn't hurt to put these in right now. kind of pulled this black antenna out of its recess. I think it's an antenna. I mean, it makes sense given the position of it. I'm going to wipe down these ribbon cables. Just give them a quick swipe with some rubbing alcohol and a Q-tip, because I was kind of touching them. Now the digitizer ribbon is pretty bit of a bore, because it wants to kind of angle up, and you want to put it in at like almost like a complete right angle. So you got to kind of snag it inside of the connector, and then it'll sometimes just sort of find its way in, kind of like that. There we go, perfect. I remember I was having quite a bit of a time putting it together last time. Okay, let me now get all these screws in. This is Friday, I'm in love. There should be three long, 3 short. That there is. They're both slightly different color screws. So the 3 long are the ones that are over here. I did not put in the joystick ribbon cable. I'll get that in a second. That one's considerably easier than pretty much everything else I just did. These are the 4.5mm screws. I can tell just by sight. Well, I can't measure them by sight, but I can tell that they're longer. That'd be kind of a convenient superpower. Make measuring screws a hell of a lot easier. Okay, 3 shorts. Now I don't have to worry about sitting on this pile of microfibers anymore. Now I don't have to worry about the buttons pushing out. The last screw goes right here. I think I'm just plugging into the mid-frame, so I'm not cutting screws, or cutting threads, so that went really easily. Hey, shoulder button next for Thursday. Yep, and I can confirm, so let me get this levered off. That one easier. This is a little more, don't care if it breaks. Well, I care if the button breaks, I don't care if the little bracket breaks. Perfect. I mean, before it was just me being extra careful. Trying to keep that little membrane centered. This one's going to be a little bit difficult. There we go. Okay, those feel good. I think it's the billion screws for the game card slot and the headphone jack. Tis. I think these are going into the mid frame, so I don't have to cut these threads. The less threads I have to cut, the more comfortable I am. The ones that are going to be the hardest to cut are the... how many screws are there? The 8 exterior screws. Those are going to suck. Because if I strip one of those out... Oh no. Short a screw. Probably still in my container. Good. I mean, it's not like I don't have a screw kit. Two Nintendo Switch Lite screw kits. Okay. I think I'm almost done. Holy. Okay, heatsink time. And then I should be good enough to test it. I don't want to sort of... I would probably be fine testing it right now. I don't necessarily like not having a cooling solution on the APU. I mean, it's got the heat spreader on it, but... There we go. Fresh MX4. MX4 is... A little of it got out of on the edges of my tube. Just want to clean it off. Don't want to track it everywhere. There's still a little bit of MX4 on the heatsink, but I mean, it's fine. It'll just spooge out whatever I don't use. A little bit of mounting pressure on all these screws. I don't think the heat pipe is really sitting down correctly, but I don't want this to move. Okay, no, it's in. It felt like it was kind of teetering a little. I can't exactly do a star pattern with only 3 screws. Okay. I am gonna put the heat shield on because I don't want to accidentally smush my hand in that. I mean, I will make sure the thing powers on, just to make sure that there's just nothing obvious I'm missing. I'll just have to be careful not to smooch that. Power button should be right here. Hey. Still works. Now, thankfully, the Extreme Rate, this kit comes with a tempered glass screen protector that's color matched. So this sort of teal bezel will be hidden. Turn it off. Power options, turn off. Alright, Monday. This will be for the heat sink. There's still some... It's actually all nicely kind of gathered right there in the center, so I'm not going to add any more thermal paste. So I'll nicely get it nice and gently put in. Yeah, and this corner was like bent up for some reason. I don't know what happened there. Some type of damage hit that corner. And now there are two screw sizes. The super long boy is down here in the corner. Or, yeah, technically I guess it's a corner. That might be a screw thread I'm cutting. Okay. And then I'm going to want to take off the serial number, and I'm going to put it back here on the... I'm going to put it about right there. Whoa. Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? I don't know why you're doing that, so I'm going to hold off on doing that screw for a second. There it goes. Perfect! Wow, look at that. So let me grab the old shell, which is right here. I'm going to heat the sticker up, and I should just be able to very gently take it off, and it will retain its adhesion. There is something I do need to remember doing. I need to put these little dust filters on the new shell. I'll just put it right there so I remember. But right now I'm interested in that. So let me grab my hairdryer. And this will be extremely loud, so I'm not going to... I'm going to mute that. That went swimmingly. I'm just gonna plop it right here. That's where it will live. It's sort of the most sort of unintrusive spot. Because when I put it on my clear shell, since it didn't have this recess for the serial number, it just fell off. And also that clear shell was very, like, smooth. So even though I did heat it like I just did, which will save some of the adhesive, it just fell off. Or I just sort of, like, it scuffed, like, slumped off or peeled off really easily. Cool. That hairdryer kicks out some serious heat. It's enough heat that I have to pull away my hand. But, which is perfect. It's not like it won't melt the plastic, but it's enough to do some good work on adhesive. Now, I was kind of interested to see if I could sort of wipe off some of the marks my hands left. It's not a clear shell, this isn't really super important. I mean, I don't necessarily need to hide the fact that I opened this thing because, well, there's no other way I could have done this shell kit without opening it. Just make it look nice for whatever poor sap gets to open this again, which hopefully isn't me. There, looks okay. Now, set that aside. Get these dust vents on. Beautiful. Before I do anything too crazy, I just want to make sure I am not forgetting anything. I have the buttons and the screwdrivers that I didn't use. I have the adhesive. You know what? Let me dab on iFixit here for a second. These are the extreme rate screwdrivers. Here's the tri-wing. And here's a PH00, which is what they recommend. So, I mean, iFixit says 000. Extreme Rate and I say 00. Who's in the right? Okay, I got tempered glass things, or screen protector things, and here's the tempered glass screen protector, kind of like what I was mentioning, color matched. I'll do that off screen because I need to, I can't do that down here, it's way too dusty down here. Okay, so now I need to get this all jiggled on and get those new screws cut, or these new screw posts cut. Oh boy, I'm not looking forward to this one at all. little tight right here for reasons I don't understand. Don't want to force it. It's not wanting the clip right here. There it goes. Okay, I did just need a little bit of beans. All right. This is definitely a little bit of springiness to it that I don't necessarily enjoy. And right here, it's not exactly coming together. Trying to figure out why. Okay. Making sure that the volume button and power buttons aren't... The membrane didn't get, like, mushed up. Which I think it's good. I'm just gonna have to really pinch it together when I do some of these screws. Turn this off. Here we go. So I'm gonna have a mix of tri-wing and Phillips for this. I need to find which one's the Phillips. Here, well, 1 out of 4 chance, and I got it. I'm gonna put the tri-wings in first. I want to kind of pinch this together while I'm doing this. First one's good. Ooh, ooh. So I'm going to be kind of doing this over here so I can, it's off my mat so I can pinch it. Second one's good. That one's the Phillips. So I'm gonna put the Phillips right next to the game card slot, or the SD card slot. Okay, then Phillips 00. Or 000 if you're iFixit. Right, that's sandwiched together really nicely. Now I don't like how much springiness is right here. I'm gonna have to be very kind of generous when it comes to smushing these. Get the rest of these screws out. These screws are going in very nicely. I was really worried about these screws in particular because of just how screwing it up can make this a little more interesting than I would like. Beautiful. And there we have it. Get things out of the way. No screws remaining. Get these thumb caps back on. Uh-oh. This doesn't feel right. Yeah, this right shoulder button is jammed. Or it's stuck on something. Let me just try and see if there's anything I can do to get it out. Like maybe it popped out of its recess a little when I was putting it together. Because it's one of those, I press it down, and then it will stay down. I guess I don't need this iFixit anymore. I did put it in correctly. Try and like massage it around to see if it like pops back into place if it needs to pop back into place. Back this screw out just like a hair. It definitely does not have the same amount of springiness as this other button does. I might play with it for a little bit. Like, I'll just do my testing with it. And if that does become a problem, I will look into it. I don't want to be too hasty and immediately strip it back down. I'm just going to let it be. Maybe it will click into place. Like, maybe it sort of, like, fell out of its recess a little. Why did it do that? Is this thing dead? Shouldn't be. I think it's possible maybe the power button got a little jammed down. Not going to be too hasty on any of my stuff. Just deep breathe in and out. Yeah, the shoulder button definitely feels different. Let me touch the touch screen while I'm here, just to make sure I didn't bung it up. Other than being a little filthy. Let me just make sure these sticks are good still. Looks like I probably need to recalibrate them. They are not centering on a right input fully. And again, that just might be because I put these caps back on. I'll do that later. That's just one of those things I'm just going to hold off, play some Breath of the Wild on this, just to make sure if anything needs to fall into place, it will. The shoulder button still feels very weird. So I will look into that later. I just want to see, or maybe because the touchscreen or the touch tester isn't going to really reveal too much, or the input tester. Ugh. I didn't mean to update it, but alright. Oh, don't want to throw it. Yeah, so right now I think it's jammed down. Let me look into that, because that is not good. Turn it off. Now I'm going to want to try and put all of the screws back into the same spot they came out of. Figure out what's going on. Now that I have threads to rely on, I should be able to back these in pretty easily, or put them back in pretty easily. And maybe the jammed R button was why I was kind of having a hard time putting the shell together. But I don't want to jump to that conclusion. Not yet, at least. I accidentally turn it on. Doesn't look like it. There we go. Okay, I do have access to the R button. Now why, pray tell, are you being annoying? Like, did the spring jump out of its recess? So it's not pushing back? Maybe I should just replace the spring with the other one. See if that changes it. If it gives it a little more springiness. Because it's in here fine. And it even feels fine. Maybe I didn't put this in correctly. Still feels fine. Oh, of course. Before I clamp the shell together, I'll test it again. So far, that feels a lot better. I don't know, maybe if it just got jammed a little when I was putting that on. And it might just be the clamping force of the lower shell. Make sure that those membranes aren't going to get bunched up. I put this on. That feels better. The R button's springing back. So I wonder if it did just get bunched up a little. Alright, now to do the fun part again. I don't like doing this. Thankfully I should have threads I can just go back into. Right. Ooh, that was the butt clencher, because that was the Phillips head. I don't trust these third-party screws to be very good. Especially compared to Nintendo's OEM. I'll put the screws in exactly where I took them out. I'm glad I looked into that because it didn't seem like it was getting better. I thought maybe when I pressed it a few times, it would just sort of pop into place, but it didn't feel like it was, so. Making the executive decision to actually take it apart was the right call. And I would have if it persisted like it would have. but I still have to like pinch these two shell pieces together, which doesn't necessarily feel the greatest. Okay. Yeah, that feels better. So I think maybe it was just when I was putting on this shoulder button, fiddling with that little membrane. Maybe just when I put it on, it just didn't click into its recess very well. All the buttons feel great. And the most important part, it still turns on. Give it a spit shine on the screen. So at least looks good for the camera. I'll get there's some adhesive I need to take off around here. I'll have to be really careful. That was from the tape I did. And then I'll put the tempered glass screen protector, and then I think I'm ready to actually start putting it through final testing to get it sold, because I have been playing on this console with the new TMR sticks in, and it's been great. I've had no problems with it, and the only thing I changed is just the cosmetic exterior, which, I mean, changes nothing about the functionality of the console. But I might play on it a little. But I think I'm getting ready to finalize this thing.